Hey everyone, Chris here from the support team. I wanted to create a quick video to demonstrate how you can use the Financials web services for reporting. You don't have to have any developer knowledge to make use of the OData v4 endpoints. You can pull data into Excel or Power BI and build reports right now. So let's take a look at the web services page. The web services page is where you can expose pages, queries that you want to be able to pull information out of Financials and down to Excel or Power BI to build reports. It's very easy to do. You can use these links over here and you can pick new pages to expose depending on the data that you need to pull and the reports that you want to build. Let's start off by taking a look at the sales document lines and sales documents web services. First thing you'll want to do is make sure that your user has a web service access key generated. So let's navigate to the user screen. I'll select my user, and what you're looking for here is that you have a web service access key for the user generated. If you don't, you can use this button at the top to generate one, but you will want to have a copy of your username here and your web service access key here, as these will be used for your username and password when you go to connect to the web service endpoints. Now that I have my username and password, I'm going to navigate to Excel. In Excel, we can go to Data, Get Data from Other Sources, from OData Feed. And this will pull up a prompt asking for the URL. Back in Financials, I will select my sales documents OData v4 URL. I'm going to copy that shortcut, come back to Excel and paste that in. Now it's going to come up for authentication. For the authentication, we'll go to Basic, and we will use that username and password that we just got off the user card. Once I paste that in here and hit connect, we should be getting a preview of the data that we are pulling from that OData feed. There we go. This is our purchase header information. I'll go ahead and load that. Now I'm going to navigate to a new sheet and do the same thing. We'll go to Data, Get Data from Other Sources, from OData Feed, and this time we will copy our sales document lines OData v4 URL. And we'll plug that in, and this time Excel will remember our credentials and it should just load up the preview immediately. Now you can edit here if you want to. I'm just going to load it all in. And now I have a refreshable set of data, header and line data, that I could slice and dice and build reports off of in Excel. If you have an Excel Power user that you can give this to, a refreshable report, they can start making reports off this immediately. Let's take a look at another example and how we can add new web services. I once had someone ask me if there was a report that showed you the inventory on jobs versus the inventory quantity on hand. They wanted to be able to see if they were going to have enough inventory on hand to fulfill jobs in real time. I don't think we have a report like this, but I said we could build one off of the web services. On the web services page, if you want to add a new page to expose that for building reports, you can do so by using this Create Dataset wizard. Now for the report that I'm talking about, we will need to have items page and job planning lines page exposed. Items page is already exposed, so we just need to expose the job planning lines. Let's go through the wizard, create a new data set. This data source ID section, you can click the ellipsis to do the lookup, and I can do a search here on job. I'll do job, and then I should be able to find the job planning lines page. Here it is right here. So that's the one I'll add. Give it a name. Hit next, and then it'll allow you to filter the data that you want to pull. This doesn't really matter. So we'll just publish it. Hit finish, and I should get a job planning lines web service published now. Here it is right here. So now I have items and job planning lines. I should have the web services I need to build the report. So let's jump into Power BI Desktop. I'm going to be pulling the data into Power BI Desktop in almost the exact same way that I did with Excel. I'm going to go to Get Data, OData Feed, and I'm going to grab my URLs. We'll go with items, plug that in, and then it will ask for credentials, where we will use our username and our web service access key. And this should give us a preview of the data just like Excel did. There's my inventory and my quantity on hand. Now I know the data that I need to build this report, so I'm going to edit, because I really only need to bring in the number, the description, the type, and the inventory count. I don't need any of this other data coming in. So we can simply remove those columns. Now this makes the query a little more clean. If I'm not pulling all that data down that I don't need, the query should conceivably run faster. So let's close and apply that. Now we can get the data for the job planning lines in the same way. I'll just jump ahead here to save time. So here I am with my job planning lines data. I'm just going to load this without editing to save time. I now have the queries that I need to build my report. The first thing I'm going to do is rename my queries so that they are easier to identify. So I will rename this one to items. And I will rename this one to job planning lines. The next thing I'm going to do is set up a relationship between the two sets of data. I can go to the Manage Relationships button here at the top and set up a new relationship. And I want the relationship to be between the numbers. So the number, the item number, and the numbers on the job planning lines. Now job planning lines can contain resources, text, or items. So if I have a resource, or if I have an item type on the job planning line, it should have an item number here. So I do want those to tie together with a one-to-many relationship. Next thing I'm going to do is rename my quantity field to job quantity, just so I can differentiate that to know that that's my job quantity and not quantity on hand. Now let's start adding some columns from the items to our report. Description, inventory to start off. I can see now a full list of my inventory and how much I have on hand. Now let's add the job quantity column. So now it filters down to just the two that match up and both have values. I do have a blank one here which I can easily remove by setting a filter. If I go to description and select all, remove blank, that'll take care of that. So now I only have inventory items listed that are actually on job planning lines. So this is fine. This is showing me how many I have on jobs and how many I have on hand. But if this got bigger, it would be harder to read. So let's get a third column going. We want a calculated column that actually shows us the difference. So I'm going to right click over here on items and I'm going to add a new measure. Now the measure I'm about to put in here, I'm just going to copy paste in. I'm not an expert on creating measures in Power BI, but I was able to create this one after about 5 minutes of looking on Bing. And essentially all it's doing is it's subtracting the job quantity from the inventory QOH. And if we add that, it would help. if we add that, we'll now get a difference as a third column. The problem is it added all the items back, not just the ones that we have on jobs. So let's do another filter, and we will show job quantity only where it is greater than 0, and we'll apply that filter, and now we're back to seeing. So this is great and this is fine. But the final thing that we would want to do is maybe add some kind of a visual indicator for when we have a negative difference. So let's go over to the difference value and do conditional formatting. And we'll do a diverging. We will do the lowest value of 0 and then make it a reddish color, I guess. The middle value can be 1 and the highest value can be 9. And we'll hit OK. And we don't see anything change. And we shouldn't, because we don't have any negative values. But if we go into financials now and add some more tables or some chairs to a job, we should see that change. So let's go to one of our jobs and you can see how this updates in real time. Go to this job, we'll go to the job planning lines, and instead of 8 Berlin guest chairs, we'll do 105 Berlin guest chairs. And I can immediately go back to my report, hit refresh, and we should see it change. Now I have a report with a visual indicator allowing me to know that there's a problem, that I am going to have negative inventory based on the number of chairs I currently have assigned on jobs. Now you could get fancy, you could add more columns if you want to know which job it's on. Obviously there's a lot of power here. For basic ugly reporting, this is just an example. You can build as many reports as you want, put them out on a Power BI dashboard, give those to your users to do their job more effectively. I hope this video helps you to get more value out of your financials product, and as always, if you have any questions, you should head on over to the community forums and ask away. Thanks.